Hello there. Now today we're taking a look at another Argos return. This time it's this Bosch DAB radio. Now on the returns label it says volume not working, and it was purchased on the 3rd of the 12th 2020 and returned on the 16th of the 12th 2020. So let's get it on the bench and have a look at what's going on. Right, so let's get him out the box. Hopefully we've got a power supply in that box. Yes, I think we have. So, we've got some instructions, a little bit creased, but never mind. And we've got the unit itself. Now, that little bit of tape, it's got no power on it. Now I'm sure on the returns label it said no volume not working. Right, okay, so I don't know yet. We'll have to see how that performs. So let's get rid of that and plug it in and see what happens. Right, we're plugged in. How do you turn it on, I wonder? Power mode. Right, we've got nothing there. So I suppose the first thing we should do is check that the power adapter is actually working. So let's get my meter. Right, there's our meter. Right, there's our plug. So just yeah, we've got just over 6 volts there, so the power supply is okay. So I think what we'll do next is try some batteries in it. So before I've got a bit of a mixed bag of batteries here, but let's see what these are doing before I put them in. They've been lying around a while. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. Yeah, they seem okay. Let's stick them in. Now does it do anything? Does it balls? Know the answer to that question. So let's get it apart and see what's going on inside. Right, well, to get it apart we've got 6 screws, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there underneath the aerial, and one down here in the battery compartment. So let's just whip them out. Right, so let's get the screws out of the way. 2, 4, 5, 6. Right, okay. Now, always be careful when you're opening these up, because I don't always know how long the cables are going to be connecting the back. Right, well, we've got, let's undo this one here that's attached to the aerial before I snap that off. Okay, Now just bear in mind that that one is a slightly different screw in of much that it's threaded rather than a self-tapper. Now we've got that plug there. Okay, we can leave that connected for a minute. So what we need to do is establish whether there's any voltage coming up from here to the board, I would say. Let's stick our meter back on. Try and get it where it's not, that's it, you can see it there. So, where's our power adapter gone? Let's shove this back up it. That's our 6 volts connected. So we'll come on to the board. Now on the plug here, we've got what looks like a ground on that one and 6 volt next to it. Well, there's nothing there. So let's pop that off, put that out the way for a minute. And take this little board out and have a look. Right, to get the little board out, it's just 2 little screws either side of it, and it looks like it drops into a little slot. Okay, there we go. Let's just take that. Right, let's put that over there. So there's more than likely going to be a problem with the socket because there's nothing coming down from it, and I would imagine that once you plug the mains in, the mains adapter in, it cuts the power that goes down from the batteries, so you don't get the batteries and the mains adapter running both together trying to power it. So let's just do a bit of a come down a bit. Oh, wait a minute. Ah, right, okay. I can already see there that I don't know whether you can see that on the camera, but if I wobble that, I can see these pads. I can see that one and that one definitely moving. I think this one is probably still attached, but basically these two are no longer attached. They're either broken across and the pad has come away from the print, or they're very badly dry jointed. Where's my magnifier? No, the copper is completely fractured all around from the pad to the copper. It's all broken. It just wants cleaning off, scraping back, and then just resoldering by the looks of things. So let's just have a look in here. Well, I think the reason that it's failed, I don't know whether you can see this, but where this socket sits, if you look at the plastic there, you can see the outline of where perhaps a cage would have been, like a raised piece of plastic that supported the socket to stop it from any stresses. And it looks as if it's either been manufactured wrong and it's missing altogether, or it has broken off. But there was no bits of plastic, as I noticed when, let me just have a look on the bench, when I opened it, nothing fell out of it. So I'm assuming it's a manufacturing fault, and that's why this is fractured, because it's been able to move. Oh, you can see it moving quite freely there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to scrape this copper back and solder it all back and bridge it with some thin bits of thin wire will do. And then when I reassemble it, I'm actually going to put a little bit of arrow dye or hot glue or something around the socket when it goes back in to give it some support, so it shouldn't occur again in the future. So let's get the soldering iron sorted out and we'll repair these tracks. Right, well, I'm just going to scrape this copper back. Now, if you've got a fibre tip pen, that's the best tool for the job, to be honest, but I haven't got mine at hand, and if I had, I seem to recall it needs some new tips. But as you can see, I've scraped that away to reveal some fresh copper. Now, what I've got is a bit of, what is it? A bit of thin cable, the inner of the cable, I should say. And I'm just going to tin that up. Let's just get a bit of flux onto this, onto here first. Right, so I've tinned this area up. Now I've had a bit of a change of plan, because what I've done, when I come to tin these, what's left of the pads came away with on the tip of the soldering iron. So I've scraped further back and tinned further back. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take our pieces of wire and I'm going to stick it in the holes alongside the pin and attach it to the pin like that, and then I'm going to fold it over onto the tin track. So I'm just going to push it down like so, and take a bit of solder. And then we're just going to tack it like that. Just pop a little bit more solder where the pin is. And that's it. Now I just need to trim it off. Just there. We don't want it to bridge across that area there, which it hasn't. Just let me get my magnifier and check that. Yeah, that's okay. Now we'll just repeat the process for the other pin. So we'll just pop him in. like so, and soldering to the pin, and then we'll fold him over the same manner as we did the first one, being careful not to bridge it. I'll just tack it a bit more where the pin is. I think that will do it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll just snip that off there. Just make sure that we're not bridged. And the other pin was okay. So we'll just wash that off now with a little bit of alcohol, get rid of the flux. And just give that a bit of a wipe. Now we'll test that to make sure that we've got good continuity. Okay, so to test it before we put it back together, I've plugged the main adapter in, and we'll just measure the volts now coming off the board. So this pin is a negative, and this pin here should be the positive. And there we have 6.09 volts. So that seems to be okay. We'll just check it at the other end. Not that there's any great need to, I don't think. But we will. Yep, okay. So we can now put that back together. Okay, so that's the board back in. I've put the 2 screws back in to hold it, and I've also put plenty of hot glue around both of the sockets, which hopefully will give them some support. I think if I'd used Araldite, it would have made it impossible to get it apart again if it ever should, you know, need to. So I'm just going to reassemble it all now, and we'll see what sort of performance we get from it. Okay, so we're all back together, so let's stick some power up it. Welcome to digital. Okay, how do we switch it on? Ah. Right, we'll turn that off or else. Okay, so that seems to be working okay. As you can see, BBC Radio Wales. So let's take the power out and see if it will work off battery. This is just on battery power now.
Notorious from 1986, and before that from a year earlier, Prince and Raspberry Beret. I was saying the alliteration in that makes...
Yeah, and that's with the aerial down. So yeah, that seems to be a fix. Another simple one. Nothing too technical about it really, a bit fiddly, but other than that, quite easy. Anyway, I hope that's been of some help to you. Many thanks for watching, and hope to catch you in the next one.